Pirates of the Caribbean. And oh boy, do I know people are not going to like how I just pronounced that. A story about how Johnny Depp can somehow stumble around like a drunken maniac for 5 movies and make over $4 billion. But if we shift the perspective from the man who cannot be caught and instead focus on the man of apples, Captain Barbosa himself, then it becomes a story about a guy who really just wants to be rich and powerful, only to accidentally become immortal, find out immortality sucks because being able to drink and eat is truly what living is all about. But to understand that, let me just put you in his shoes. So imagine for a minute that you are Captain Hector Barbosa, a man who goes by many titles: Pirate Lord, a man so evil that hell itself spat him back out, and of course, the most important one, Captain of the Black Pearl. Once upon a time, a guy named Captain Boyra, a man with the charisma of a barnacle, blew up your ship, and as such the entire pirate court decided to summon Davy Jones himself to defeat him. But in a fit of guilt, he then bequeathed onto you a block of wood, which you nearly strangled him right there and then. Because how do you feel guilty about blowing up someone's ship and then hand them a block of wood? It doesn't make any sense. But you later found out that this little block of wood is one of the 9 pieces of 8. Giving you lordship over the Caspian Sea. Awesome. A sea that may as well be landlocked, seeing as you have to go through the Mediterranean and the Black Sea just to get there, while also being frozen half the year and the only plunder there is sheep and vodka. Seriously, this guy just blew up your ship, forced you to confront the reality that Davy Jones is actually completely real and not a fucking ghost story, and then gives you a puddle in Central Asia. Either way, not to shoot a gift horse in the mouth, you do accept your title of Lord. After all, aside from a few wanted posters, your name was kind of irrelevant, and that's something you did not take too kindly to. Not at all. Your name needs to be heard all around the world. And so you rule that landlocked puddle so hard, even the goats start to whisper your name. Unfortunately though, you gave the block of wood to your mate with the one eye, Rigetti, who then you subsequently lost and ended up on an adventure with Jack Sparrow instead. Now, you sort of begrudgingly put up with Jack because you think he's blessed by the gods. He always seems to know exactly where to be when something exciting or interesting is happening. But he had 2 things that you wanted: the Black Pearl and the location to Isla de Morta, and by extension, enough riches to make you as rich as probably the East India Company. So you opted for a little bit of cheeky mutiny, because with the treasure of Cortez and the Black Pearl, your title of Pirate Lord of the Caspian Puddle will actually be revered and not a complete farce. In fact, your name would be heard all over the 7 seas. Ain't no way you're gonna let some drunken womanizer in a rum-fueled haze rule you any longer. Spotting an opportunity, you do a little bit of casual social engineering. Jack ain't too bright sometimes, and all you need to do is just sprinkle in a few choice words and you get what you want. The bearings to the Isla de Morta. A few people, okay, one complete dickhead named Bill said something that about mutiny and Jack was against the code, or fuck the code, you're a pirate lord, you don't follow no code. The code is only to be adhered to when it's convenient or otherwise beneficial to you. Otherwise, you just might as well write the code yourself as you go. And besides, mutiny is only a crime when you lose. When you win, it's called a promotion. So you get the gold of Cortez, and a very cute Jack that you named Monkey. So that way, when the brethren ask you where Captain Jack Sparrow is, you just point and say, well, he's flinging shit in the corner like usual. But then it turns out that you guys become skeletons at night. And can't die. Even the monkey. Very handy, actually. And with this, well, who could stand in your way? After years of spending money like Mansa Musa in Egypt, almost crashing the economy of the pirate world, you may have visited Tortuga a few too many times for some company. But when you were knee-deep in some leaded-faced lady, you discovered that you don't actually feel any pleasure at all. Who knew that the Curse of Cortez was less eternal power and more permanent November? But a little while later, you find out that the gold you spent was actually cursed. Well, no shit. And the only way to undo the curse is to get the gold back. Great. So you spend literal years in agony, suffering, to rectify this. Luckily, you can track them down with some magical bullshit. But then that Bill fellow somehow managed to squirrel off his gold medallion to someone, saying that we deserve to be cursed for all eternity after what we did to Jack. Like, this really upset you. Because overthrowing Jack was kind of your divine right. And now Bootstrap has tried to mutiny your mutiny. You can't have other people mutiny in your mutinies. That's how chaos starts. Well, since he wants to doom you all for all eternity, the logical conclusion is to tie him to a cannon and throw him overboard where he can sit under the ocean for all eternity. Yeah, anyway, turns out you needed his blood to undo the curse. Talk about an ironic twist of fate. And you dropped him, very deliberately I might add, in a very deep part of the ocean. Meaning that if you did want to go and find him, it'd actually take months to swim down there. And you don't even have his medallion, so you've basically sunk your own chances of undoing the curse. And so you spend ages longing for the day when you could feel the slightest bit satisfied, or at least not completely consumed by an insatiable desire to eat your apple. Oh, while you keep one near you. At all times, it taunts you, it teases you, it's like a permanent edging that actually doesn't feel that good. But imagine your surprise when one day some magical bullshit alerts you the last of the Aztec coins has arrived in the Caribbean. How about that? Not even a day's sail from where you are. Amazing. So you and your man, you go there. The place is run by the fucking Brits, by the way. East Company as well. It's like they're building an empire. It's like they want the whole world to drink tea and have yellow teeth. No. The only acceptable colour of teeth are brown, and your eyes should also be yellow. That's how you know you got the scurvy. That's the mark of a real sailor, when you're knee deep into the scurvy. Anyway, imagine your further surprise when your men rock back after giving those damn Brits a taste of some medicine, actually, when they turn up with a bit of old treacle.
I am here to negotiate the cessation of hostilities against Port Royal.
And she wants to play pirate games and do pirate things. Fair play to her, but you can't be using fancy words in the game of pirates. You know what I mean? She is clever, but she's also trying to palm herself off as some kind of maid, so really not that clever. Like, come on, love, you just use words reserved for the gentry. Does she think that you guys are fools? Probably does, to be honest. Besides, you and I both know that those genetics would at least lead to a bastard or three, and should be well looked after.
Elizabeth Turner.
What a stroke of good fortune. She's exactly who you've been looking for. Okay, maybe she is a maid, because there ain't no way Bootstrap knocked up gentry. Fine, you'll honour the parlay, but not before you give her the old Barbosa special.
Your return to shore was not part of our negotiations nor our agreement, so I must do nothing.
And you sail away with this bonny lass. It's honestly kind of good that this movie was for kids, because if these guys were as hard up as they say they are, she wouldn't last a second without the Disney lawyers breathing down the back of our necks. As a good host, which you are, you feed her, you tell her a bit about yourself, but mostly you watch her chow down like a Korean mukbanger. If she had a 300 crown microphone, you could just imagine that people would pay at least 100 shillings a video for her to whisper in your ear while eating that food. And you're getting that for free.
And the apple's one of those next.
Not just any apple. It's a Granny Smith. None of that gala crap. It's juicy, it's crunchy, it's crispy. It would sound perfect being crunched in her. But she seems to see into your soul and understand that there is something perverse about your request to eat the apple.
It's poisoned.
So, naturally, to change the topic, you opt for an exposition dump. So you can lay out the plan for the crumpet, but not without a few threats sprinkled in. Not because you're actually going to kill her or anything, but you absolutely do want to make her squirm. Fine lass like this trying to play pirate probably never really felt any real fear in her life.
Apple.
Just eat the apple, please. Please, just eat the Typical Brit, always using the knife. Gun's right there.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Well, that worked. Now she understands that this is actually real, and that whole doughy-eyed attempt at doing the right thing actually has consequences. You can't just wake up and play pirate. You have to live it. You have to be it. You have to do whatever it takes to survive. And if you don't, the only thing that waits for you is the cozy embrace of Davy Jones taking you to the depths, which you absolutely know to be true. You get to the island, cut the hand, and feel like everything is finally coming up Millhouse. But it doesn't work. Turns out the lash tricked you. So you may have let your anger get a little bit the better of you. And of course, this causes another attempt at mutiny because striking a woman is wrong. Holy crap, a mutiny? You'd think they weren't pirates or something. What about the code? And besides, they can't actually do a mutiny unless you succeed. How are you going to and how are they going to overthrow you? You cannot die.
We cut her throat and spill all our blood.
Fucking idiots. This is why they cannot be captain. Their solutions aren't exactly well thought out. But I guess this is what happens when they sleep in the hold with lead-laced barrels, some mercury plundered from Spanish gold ships, coupled with high-proof alcohol abuse before they turned undead. And honestly, this is why you only drink wine. Keeps the brain from melting as quickly. But she disappears and is replaced by none other than Jack Sparrow. And he didn't actually die. But he's here asking about...
Can't
even get the name right. Sorry, excuse for a pirate. Anyway, fuck the parlay. Jack deserves no pirate code.
The girl's blood didn't work, did it?
Here it comes. How does he do it? How does he stumble around? Always finds out exactly where he needs to be, and then finds out exactly what you need. How is he doing this all the time?
Hold your fire!
So now you have to make a deal with this bottom feeder of a captain, and his deal is to leave you on an island with a name.
Funny old world, isn't it?
He just ate your apple. The audacity of that man to sit so casually in front of you and then undermine your authority, borderline threaten you, and then eat one of your treasures. But before you can rip his eyes from his skull with a rusty spoon, you find out you're coming in on another ship. Talk about Saved by the Bell. A ship that Jack somehow commandeered from the British. Gotta give credit to that man there. He is nothing short of brazen.
I scurry over to the Interceptor and I negotiate the return of your medallion, eh? What say you to that?
See, this is why he's so stupid. He's always trying to be amicable, find solutions rather than just, killing people. So you end up having this big old battle on the ocean, and honestly, it's pretty awesome. One of the best scenes in the entire movie. Jack even brings you the gold coin. What sweet poetry. To make Jack look like an idiot. Truly, it is a testament to his insanity to be outsmarted by a creature with a brain the size of a walnut. But you win, and you get the privilege of tying up all of these idiots. But then the pudding starts screaming about Will or something. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? And then some young toy jumps out and starts threatening you with a gun. I'm like, what? Use your brain. Maybe he also has a walnut-sized brain.
Who are you?
My name is Will Turner. My father was...
Oh, that'll fucking do it. Well played, sir. Actually, quite well played. So you hash out a deal with the Walnut Brain. But of course, as with everyone that you do deals with, he neglects to be more specific and allows room for ambiguity.
Don't dare impugn me honor, boy. I agreed to go free.
And I mean, seriously, you should just be a court magistrate. Or at least, just wear one of those fancy wigs. Look rather dashing. And you do get a slight perverse pleasure in watching Jack get tossed on the same island, knowing that he'll be watching you sail away again. Knowing in a few days you'll be filthy rich and curse-free, able to eat all of the apples in the world. You probably could have killed him, but letting him go with Junior Bootstrap's trouble and strife is just beautiful. Because all while we'll be sailing to the island, he'll have to grapple with the reality that in a few days they'll either be shooting each other or going for one last hurrah. Anyway, imagine your complete bamboozlement when Jack appears at the right time again.
It's not possible.
Just when you're about to end the Bootstrap bloodline, he gets in the way.
You don't want to be doing that, mate.
Fuck's sake, this guy is just insufferable. And why do you continuously insist in not putting a bullet in him? Or at least a knife. You are still from Britain.
Dauntless, pride of the Royal Navy, is floating just offshore.
So, what is his angle here? Why would he be telling you all of this? Why would he let you kill the British when your death would probably lead to him at least not being hung?
Of course, you'll take the Grandis as your flagship, and who's to argue?
Well, this is quite the proposal, and Commodore Barbosa has a rather nice ring to it, honestly.
I'll buy you the hat. A really big one.
Seriously, okay, Jack is quite the showman. Lots of theatrics. It's really hard not to get swayed by him. He definitely knows how to lay on the schmooze. And all this time you're trying to figure out why he's doing this, but it turns out he's just a simple man. You think he's working an angle, but he's actually pretty honest. Incredibly honest, actually. And that's probably why it works. No one ever expects him to be honest when he almost always is. And you honestly just thought he wanted vengeance. But it turns out he just wants to be captain of the Pearl, which is more than happy to oblige, because if you have a bigger, grander ship, he can have the Pearl because it's still technically yours, just he's the captain. It's almost a shame that Jack's whole grand ambition is to only be a captain of a ship. You would one day want to be Admiral. Lord Admiral Barbosa. A man so notorious his name would be forever etched into the annals of history. Sure, right now you could live forever, but not a single bite of joy crosses your tongue. You'll trade an eternity for just a moment's satisfaction. Oh, so yes, he actually was trying to... The one time he's dishonest, man! That's his game. He's always honest until the point that he can be... Oh my god, he's a genius. But not really, because he wants to fight you. When you're this close to winning, when you still have the curse. Huh?
You're off the edge of the map, mate. Here there be monsters.
Okay, yeah, you're old. He's a man 20 years your junior. It's not something you want to do, but it's not as if you can die. Finally, you got him. Finally, you killed the great Captain Jack Sparrow. What a treat. Not with a gun, not with starvation, but with your own sword. It's a personal, visceral feeling. You can almost relish in the blood trickling down your fingers, and this is the closest you've been to satisfied in a very long time. Fuck's sake. Are you actually fucking kidding me? It's not fair.
You can't keep getting away with it!
When did he pick up the coin? Why would it? Ooh. So now you are locked into a duel to the death where you both literally cannot die? What an idiot. How could he be so goddamn stupid? Seriously, is this everything that the great Captain Jack Why does your chest hurt? So you die. You get locked up in Davy Jones' locker. But imagine your sheer astonishment when you are resurrected in a fucking swamp. Well, at least there was an apple there. Sour, it's green. Real. And some fancy clothes. Your monkey Jack is also there for some reason. But one thing does concern you. Your jaundice and your scurvy is gone. How could you call yourself a pirate anymore? But hey, at least you can pickle your liver again. And you go downstairs. It's those two lovebirds. And they want you to go find Jack in Davy Jones' locker. What? And with that, you can have your first real taste of freedom. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Consider liking and subscribing. And don't forget to vote in the weekly polls in my community page. That way you get to choose what comes next. I just want to shout out my members real quick, especially Alexander Colburn and good old Granite. Thank you guys. Your support means the absolute world to me. And of course, Lavender, Zyla, Takaru, and Alan. Thank you. Have a great day and have a great life.